Welcome to Midday Bible Study. This is a Main Street Church of God in Christ. I'm Minister Joye. This is From Eden to Eternity. This is session 21, which is Genesis 27 through 29. The sins of Rebekah and Isaac play a role in God's unusual plans for Jacob. Rebekah tricks her husband into giving his blessing to her favorite son. Jacob and Isaac go against God's words by intending to bestow his blessing on the child God had not chosen for it. A blessing is different from an inheritance. It carries more of a spiritual significance than a financial one. And once it is given, it's irrevocable. Jacob is not sinless here either. And he even refers to Yahweh as Isaac's God, not his own. In Isaac's blessing, he speaks the same ideas God used in 25 and 23. Isaac says, "Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you." Decades earlier, God said, "The older shall serve the younger." But before you feel sorry for Esau, note his entitlement when denying responsibility for selling his birthright. He never grasps the weight of it. He threatens to kill Jacob, so Rebekah sends Jacob to live with her brother Laban in Haran, the Canaanite land. As he leaves, Isaac warns him, "Don't marry a Canaanite. You have to marry someone in Yahweh's family." So on the way, he has a dream in which God connects himself to earth via a ladder. Jesus refers to this and describes himself as the ladder, the connection point between God and earth, a ladder God descended, not one man climbed, which is John 1 and 51. God reiterates two promises. He will give this enemy land to Jacob's family, and he will use them to bless all the families of the earth through the birth of Jesus. Jacob is not even married, but God promises him offspring. He is not perfect, but he is the one option for carrying out the lineage of God's promise. Jacob builds a pillar on the site. It sounds nice, but pillars typically are pagan structures erected by the Canaanites and not the people of God. Then he says, if God keeps his promises, then I will yield to him. He still does not really believe. Yahweh is not the God of Jacob yet. When he makes it to the edge of Haran, he goes to the well like any smart man looking for a wife. He sees Rachel, a shepherdess, which is not an uncommon job for a woman. Jacob is thrilled to know this beautiful woman is his first cousin because he has to marry in the family. Her dad, Laban, agrees to let him marry her in exchange for 7 years of work. But then Laban tricks him with a false identity, which is Leah, just like Jacob tricked his dad with a false identity. Because the consummation happens at night in a time predating electricity, Jacob does not discover the lie until after they have consummated the marriage. There is absolutely no turning back, kind of like with the blessing he received. Jacob bargains for Rachel with another 7 years. Laban's trick failed Jacob and Leah because Jacob hates her. This word often describes a mortal enemy, someone you are at war with. But as we have seen before, God has a special affinity for the overlooked and unloved. He is generous and attentive to Leah. She has 4 sons, and the names of the first 3 reveal how much striving is in her heart, how much she just wants to be loved by Jacob. By the time she has her 4th son, she is beginning to see God as enough. But she will have to relearn this lesson, so it is not quite tied up with a pretty bow. Here's the God snapshot. We have already noted his sovereignty over the evil of the enemy. But here we see another layer of God's sovereignty over evil. It is over the sins of man, the evil of our own hearts and actions. Ultimately, Rebekah's manipulation is a tool in God's hands to accomplish his desired outcome. Even sin bends to God's will. It cannot stop his plan. We have seen this since day 1 in the garden. Romans 8:28 says, even things that are not good are still used for our good and for his glory. If you think you have train wrecked your life with the sin that you cannot forgive yourself for, take heart. God is outside of time, and he knew all the things you would do wrong as a human, a parent, a spouse, a friend, and he even knows all the sins you have not committed yet. He is in this with you, working through it all. So this has been session 21, Genesis 27 through 29. In your spare time, read through it. Ask God to show you whatever needs to be shown. So until next time, be blessed.